What's up guys, it's Nav here. So if you aren't aware, I've been doing a lot of God Wars Dungeon 1 recently, camping the bosses until I get most or even all of their unique loot, just depending on my luck. Now I've recently done Bandos and Armadyl, and a few months ago I did Zamorak as well, which only left the Saradomin boss Commander Ziliana unkilled. Now this boss is quite unique in that her loot is somewhat different from the other three. The other three bosses drop armor sets that reflect a combat style. Those are the tier 70 sets Bandos, Armadyl and Subjugation. Now Commander Ziliana on the other hand doesn't drop any armor sets, apart from War Priest, which pretty much every boss and minion in God Wars Dungeon 1 drops. So then why kill her? She does actually have a decent set of main and offhand crossbows, which are tier 75, a tier 75 two-handed weapon, decent necklaces which provide plus 36 in either range, magic and melee with plus 2 prayer bonus, and also like all the other bosses she drops a hilt, which is the Saradomin hilt. Now out of all the god swords, the Saradomin one still remains the most relevant, even in current RuneScape. That's because the special attack actually restores prayer points and health, which is useful in a lot of situations. So getting on with the kills, I did use magic armor, although I didn't kite her around the room, which does work like Zamorak, just because for me it would make the whole process a pain in the ass, just because I don't want to have to spam click, and because I really don't need to with my soul split and my okay gear. Now I more or less didn't have any issues, unless I got really unlucky with food drops, and I didn't have Vampirism aura up. So on with the loot, I started off with getting a War Priest helm. Now as I've previously stated, these things are really taking out my bank, and I'm probably going to look at alching them in the near future. Next drop, probably about 15 minutes or so later, I got another loot beam, which was the Saradomin's Whisper. So I was pretty happy about that. Now this is the melee necklace that provides plus 36 strength and plus 2 prayer, so very happy, as melee is probably my favourite combat style to use in general when doing things like Slayer. And literally the next kill, I did get a God Sword Shard 3 drop from a minion, so I'm already off to a good start, and it wasn't a God Sword Shard 2. And another drop on the same trip, I did get the Saradomin's hilt, which was awesome. As I've already said, it's probably going to be the most useful God Sword when I can actually make it, so I'm glad this hilt didn't elude me. Next trip, I did get a War Priest cloak. Now that's nothing special, but a loot beam nonetheless. And not long after that, another loot beam from a minion. It was actually the War Priest legs, so getting all this War Priest knocked out of the way early. And next clip, it is another Saradomin's Whisper. So unfortunately, duplicates are never that fun when there's plenty of unique items you still need, but I may be able to dismantle it one day for a Saradomin component. And about 2 kills or so later after that one, I actually got a Saradomin's Hiss. Now that's actually the magic necklace providing plus 36 magic and plus 2 prayer, so for me this was probably the most practical item from this whole boss, just because for PVM I mainly use magic, because I do have a chaotic staff. And still on the same trip, I did get another drop, although it doesn't have a loot beam, it was the Saradomin sword. So this is a tier 75 two-handed weapon. I'm pretty happy to get it. It'll be a nice alternative to the Sun Spear. The Sun Spear is tier 78, but it obviously is degradable. So I probably won't be using the Sun Spear again until I unlock Invention, because it is very useful to dismantle, because you can dismantle a high tier weapon and then just buy another one for gold, which isn't too expensive. But moving on, an hour or so later, I got another Saradomin sword drop. So definitely nothing exciting, but I may be able to find use for it, or maybe I'll just end up breaking it down for a Saradomin component or dismantling it for good experience. So next drop was one I was pretty happy about, an offhand Armadyl crossbow. Now unfortunately it is kind of useless without the main hand crossbow to go with it, but if I can get them both that'll be great. I don't have any high tier ranged weapons apart from the Sun Spear set to ranged, and that's a javelin, so to have a crossbow will be a lot more useful, and it has some prayer bonus and it also doesn't degrade, so hopefully I can get that to go with it. And next clip we have a God Sword Shard 3. Again, nothing exciting, but as long as I'm not getting God Sword Shard 2s, as I have about 13 of them now I believe. And speaking of not exciting, another Saradomin sword, so that's our third now. And next drop, it is an effigy, so nothing exciting, but it's free Herbler experience nonetheless. Now I wanted to include this clip because it highlights what I really like about the defense cape. It's something really easy to overlook because the effect can only happen once an hour, but that one use just may make it worth it. So as you can see in this clip, I have no food and I'm pretty much trying to hold out as much as I can, just so I can teleport out after this final kill. And as you can see, once my defense cape does activate, it does restore some health and it saves me from dying, giving me a bit of extra time to kill the boss. And there you have it, arguably one of the best drops from this boss, and it completes my crossbow set. So I was extremely happy, especially under the circumstances that I did get it. And on that high note, I actually decided to stop killing the boss now. So I'm finishing up on a kill count of 288, and these kills in total took me roughly 7 hours. So the only unique drop I didn't actually get from Commander Ziliana was the Saradomin's Murmur. Now this is the ranged necklace that gives plus 36 ranged and plus 2 prayer. Now it's definitely a good ranged necklace, but I frankly avoid using range in PvM situations wherever possible, because I simply don't like the abilities as much as magic. Now I've actually been sitting on dungeoneering tokens for some time, and I realize these necklaces from Commander Ziliana can actually be upgraded by purchasing a chaotic remnant and putting it with the necklace, changing it to a necklace which provides plus 44 in the stat it originally boosted, but it does lose the plus 2 prayer bonus. So considering I had 2 Saradomin's Whispers, I thought may as well upgrade one of those, as I only had 179k dungeoneering tokens, so I could only afford to upgrade one, as the chaotic remnants did actually cost 100k dungeoneering tokens each. So there we go, the Saradomin's Whisper did change to the Brawler's Knockout Necklace, which as you can see it now has plus 44 strength bonus. So I actually thought this was pretty cool. The only other necklace in the game that can provide a higher offensive bonus in one stat is the Amulet of Souls, which provides plus 46 in all combat styles, plus 5 prayer. Now the big drawback with these necklaces is it has no prayer bonus, whilst most other decent necklaces in the game provide anywhere from 2 to 10 prayer bonus. But if you are in a situation where the boss is dropping prayer potions, super restores, or you have a penance aura, it isn't really a big deal, and I'm sure I'll find use for it in the future. And for those curious, the top tab in my bank does have all the overall loot from Saradomin. So I was really happy with how lucky I was getting a lot of unique drops, not many gold sword shards, and there was a lot of decent raw materials as well, especially the unicorn horns, as I was running out of unicorn pouches and scrolls. But that pretty much wraps this one up. I tried to keep this one somewhat more brief than the previous God Wars Dungeon 1 videos, although I've had a lot of fun making them, so I probably will continue doing similar bossing videos. So that is it for this one. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and do subscribe if you want to see more Iron Man PvM content. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Yeah.